Okay, page 4.1, sorry, section 4.1, page 165, multiplying fractions. You guys already know how to add and subtract fractions. To add or subtract fractions, you have to get a
common denominator.
Common denominator. Some of you showed, I would say a lot of you actually showed that you know how to do that very well on the test. Some of you maybe not so well, but we'll go over that when we go over the test. For right now, we're on 4.1, page 165. When you're multiplying fractions, they use the example right there. Hey, let's say you've got 2/3, right? And you've got, so 2 out of 3.
Yes.
If you multiply that times 1 over 2, you're saying, hey, what is half of 2/3? 2/3 times 1 over 2. Well, what they did here, they drew that down the middle, so now instead of 3 parts, you have 6 parts. Yep. And they're saying, hey, you're taking half of what you're filling in overall, because there's, now, those 2 parts became 4 parts. So it's, what you have here basically is 2 out of, sorry, not 2 out of, you have 4 out of 6. What do we know about 2/3 and 4/6? What do we know about 2/3 and 4/6? Yep.
That if you multiply 2 by 2, it's 4, and 3 by 2 is 6.
Yeah. So what do we know about 2/3 and 4/6? If you can multiply 2 over 2, but 2/3 by 2 over 2 to get 4 over 6, what do we know about 2/3 and 4/6? What? Yeah, they're basically they're the same. What's the name for fractions that are the same?
Equivalent fraction.
Yeah, equivalent. So those are equivalent fractions. 2/3 and 4/6 are equivalent. So what they're saying here is, hey, now we've got 4 parts. So I'm going to take 1/2 of those, 1/2 of these 4 parts. So let's say I take this and I'm like, hey, I'm not counting this anymore, I'm not counting that anymore. So I'm only counting the 2. And it's 2 out of how many total?
Out of 6.
Out of 6. So 2/3 times 1/2, because you're multiplying it,
It's 2 over 6.
is going to become 2 over 6. So anytime you multiply fractions, remember saying half of, anytime you see the word of in math, that means what? Multiplication. Of, so it's saying half of 2/3. Of and multiplication are the same thing. 2/3 times 1/2
is.
So another way of doing this is you can just say, hey, 2/3 times 1/2, and you just multiply right across. 2 times 1. When we add, before we add, we have to get a
Common denominator.
But when we multiply, do you have to get a common denominator?
Yeah.
No, you do not. That's the big difference. That's what I've been writing down.
Did you say add or
When you add, you have to get a common denominator. When you multiply, you do not. You just multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So this is a visual, but multiplication-wise, it's really simple. It's actually a lot easier than adding. You just multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 6. What's wrong with 2 over 6 though?
Not simple as 2.
It's not simplified or simplest form. So to get 2 over 6 in simplest form, we have to divide by not just 2, 2.
2 over 2.
2 over 2, and it becomes 1 over 3, which is
Simplest form.
your answer. So if you take 2/3 times 1/2, you're going to get 2 over 6. 2 over 6 is the same thing as 1 over 3. That's your answer.
Okay, this makes sense.
Let's do one more quick example here. One other thing I wanted to say right here. Another word for multiplying is product.
The product.
So if I were to say the product of 2/3 and 1/2, that means multiplying. The product of 2/3 and 1/2 is multiplying, which means you multiply. 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. Product is the same thing as multiplying. Yes?
It also says in 3 and 4, find each product in simplest form.
Yep. So when they're saying find the product, that just means you need to do what?
Add or multiply.
Multiply. Everybody, when you says product, you need to
multiply.
When it says multiply, it's the same thing as finding the
product.
All right. Let's do one really simple one. Let's do 3 over 8 times times 1 over 3. 3 times 1 is?
3.
8 times 3 is?
21.
Nope.
No, 24. 24.
24. 3 over 24, good?
No. Not
We have
simplest
to-
form.
What?
Simplify it.
What can we divide by?
3.
Nope.
3 over 3.
3 divided by 3 is?
1.
24 divided by 3 is? 24 divided by 3 is?
16. 8.
Yes, 8. All right, we're going to continue this tomorrow, but that's all I got for today.